make sure that you're doing organic marketing and that your client intake funnel is done first. And if not, go hire a business coach. Do that first.
You're an inspiration to our entire organization.
Welcome to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast. We're going to be talking the done-for-you marketing and sales strategies proven to work with boutique fitness gyms to increase quality lead flow and grow your revenue. Don't try to be a professional marketer and waste tons of money. Let the experts at Lasso do it for you. And now, here are your hosts, Blake Ruff and Sherman Merritt.
Simple with Blake and Sherman. But today we have a special guest. We have Chris Auster with us from Third Coast Movement in the great state of Texas. I'm in Florida. I like a Texas boy because they're free in Texas. They're free in Texas. So first of all, Chris, thank you for hanging out with us, buddy.
No problem. Thanks for having me, guys.
So man, let's start off first, quickly give us a little, 60-second sort of intro to who you are. If someone doesn't know you, tell us a little bit about the gym and stuff like that.
Sure. I've been in the gym world for, 14 years now. I started out in a boot camp. It was mainly women only, and it was at a school. We scaled that up to CrossFit Bridge City in 2011. We were the, one of the relatively early on affiliates. We did that. We did the CrossFit world for 7 years. I learned a lot, got tons of education. Wouldn't be in the fitness industry if it wasn't for the easy way, the easy ramp to get into the micro gym industry doing that. But learned a lot over 4, 5, 6, 7 years, and then realized that the pluses and the minuses of CrossFit. So we rebranded into Third Coast Movement, which is still a lot of functional training. But the big thing we kind of pigeonholed our gym is looking for clients that want to work one-on-one with us. They're onboarded one-on-one. Once they get into the gym, they're still meeting with their coach either quarterly or every 6 weeks or every week for more expensive, higher tier memberships. And what that did was fix a lot of the problems we were seeing in the first 4, 5, or 6 years when Debbie came to me after doing 1,000 push presses going, my elbow hurts after class, right? Spending 15 minutes with people doing rehab drills or assessing their movement a little bit more individualistically. So
okay,
yeah.
Well, good. So long-time gym owner, I like that. I like a long-time gym owner. Been here from the great days, the early part where you just say you're doing CrossFit and people would just come and do it.
That's it.
You got you're from the time where I remember the time. It was a good time. I think we're all figuring it out, and someone shows up to the gym or comes over to your garage and you're like, I'm going to try to kill them. And if they stick around, that means they like it.
Something was wrong with us. What a terrible business model, right?
Oh, man.
It worked for some people. It worked for some. It didn't work for a whole lot.
Correct. Hey, it worked for me. When I'm uber competitive. So I remember one of the first workouts, a buddy invited me to his garage. He was doing the lumberjack 20 workout. And, it has 2 kettlebells in it. And I had never really seen the kettlebell. And this dude was swinging the 2 kettlebell like it was easy. And I was like, man, that thing looks kind of heavy. After he finished the workout, I went over and tried to pick it up. I could barely pick it up. But I was like, how's this dude swinging this thing? And from there, the rest is history for me, for sure. Yeah. I was like, oh, no. This dude's not better than me. How can he do this? I got to figure this thing out. Yeah. So.
There's definitely some good to that, seeing how short your training really is. I was 24 and I was working out 3 or 4 days a week. Thought I was healthy. Thought I was eating Subway. Thinking I'm eating healthy doing that. And I'm like, oh man, these guys writing the book. We're writing the book on nutrition, and their training is superior. It's the same thing. You put everything down and go do that. That's what you have to go do, pretty much.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. So let's start off with, you've been working with us for a little while right now. You've having some success, but I want to sort of jump into what was your previous experience before working with us? Because what happens a lot of times that we've seen, a lot of people, they've had some type of experience before working with us, whether good or bad. So, for us, we're always coming to the gate like, hey, this is what we do. We don't know what happened in the past, why you're not still doing it, but this is what we do. So let's talk about sort of your experience before you came with us, and then we'll sort of transition into you working with us as well.
Sure. You want kind of like the last year? Is that recent enough, or you want the whole gamut?
No, that's fine. No. Whatever you want. Like I'm okay with it. We can roll with it.
Okay. You know, I would say for me, like I said, I've been in the fitness industry for a long time, 10 plus years. We did do paid marketing 2 times before. The only problem was I didn't have very good business training. And I didn't have a good intake process. I wasn't doing good organic marketing. We weren't doing a whole lot of advertising on social media consistently. We weren't sending a message of who we were looking for very well. We were just posting like, here's the workout of the day. Like that doesn't talk to anybody, I didn't know anything about ad copy. I didn't, none of that. That was all kind of new. And we tried paid marketing in those beginning times. And I think it was a big fail both times that I did that. And then we took a break from that around 2018, something like that. And started really working on our organic marketing, taking pictures, doing videos, doing testimonials, posting consistently at least once a day. I had a good consultant really open my eyes to be like, hey, look, they're only seeing your Facebook stuff like 7% of the time. So you better get out there and post 2 or 3 times a day if you want to do a good job on this stuff. So started doing that, getting professional pictures, working on copy, just some in-house, some we paid for. And did that for about right at 3 years. And we were pretty consistent. We could count on, maybe 15 leads a month, which is not very high. And out of those 15 leads, maybe 8 would turn into consults, and we would close 5 or 6, which is a pretty good, decent close rate.
Yeah.
60, 70%. But the problem was I'm looking at the bottom at retention, and we're not losing a whole lot of people. Our retention rate month over month is like 97, 98, 95%. This is good. This is not a poor industry standard, right? The problem is we're not putting enough in that bucket. So about the last 6 months or so, I hired a new employee. She's doing really good. So that gives us 2 full-time coaches, which let me look at the big picture and go, okay, if there's ever time to press the button and get some paid marketing, I think we're ready to do this now because I've got the staff. I've got a good intake process. We've gone through all those hoops that we had to jump through before that we weren't doing well. We've got pretty much figured out. Let's see if we can handle this. And so now we're, I think, in the 3rd month in, and it's done pretty consistent, where we're growing. Instead of closing 5 a month or 6 a month, we're closing like 9, 10, or 11. So somewhere around double is good. Yep. And for me, I don't want 20 closes a month or 15. That's going to overdo what my staff is capable of. And then I've got to look at hiring somebody else, which is a whole nother job to hire somebody else. So I'd rather get it just right, not too hot, not too cold, just in the middle, pretty much. So far it's going that way. And it's going the right direction.
Good. So now, I like what you talked about. Obviously, the paid marketing guy. So I like how you said that you were doing the organic stuff. I believe the organic stuff is key, right? I think it's key. I think long-term doing that is vital to any business. But I do believe that when you are trying to get to that next level, you have to sort of pour gas on the business to really get there, because like you're saying, you're going to get, 15 leads, you're posting organically, and most of these people already know you somehow. That's the reason they're seeing your organic posts, because they're already following you, or maybe a member showed it. What you were missing, and you correct me if I'm wrong, was just getting out in front of everyone, the broad market, that's how we're able to sort of, like you said, sort of double your people, because now with you doing the paid marketing, now you're starting to get in front of more people. That gives you more opportunities, which increases, the number of new clients you get per month. So that's I love when you say that for sure.
For sure.
You mentioned.
So what do you feel is different from the other companies that you worked with previous to working with us? You said you're basically doubling your signups, which 100% signups is huge, right? Month over month. How has that stayed consistent? What has been the difference? And I know we talked a little bit off of camera about having that sales process and all that stuff. But like, you know, we know when, and we've talked to other gyms, the biggest thing we overcome at Lasso is simply people having a bad taste in their mouth from other marketing companies, right? So it's like this, you know, just this bad word, and like small gym owners just like, no, don't do marketing. They're going to like, you know, take all their money and they don't care about you. So like, tell us a little bit about, you know, what has been different for you in this process?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of key pieces, right? Like if you look at just the service itself, these are two things that I don't, you know, remember being either as good or even an option before. One is the fact that the copywriting is just really good. Now that I know something about copywriting, compared to maybe 5-6 years ago, I think the copy is it fairly reflects what we deliver as a service instead of it just be like this bait just to get you in the door, right? I like that better. It matches better. And the other big part is Tommy, one of you guys that you know that works with you guys. I mean, every 2 weeks we have a meeting. He's got a spreadsheet on how many leads we have in, how many booked consults, how many we closed out of that. And then if there's something that doesn't look right in that percentage, if we're booking consults where they're not showing, we make a plan to go in and fix that. So to me, you guys are dabbling in the business consulting and coaching realm, which there's no way to do this stuff without that overlap. So, you know, if the other guys weren't doing that, it's been a while since I've done it. You know, I don't remember any of that with them. None of that. It was zero. It was literally press a button and just sit back and wait for people to call you and get set up. I like the overlap that there's coaching, how the process can be better. You know, changing up prices. He only put together an offer that made sense, and it's actually better for our business anyways. It kind of opened my eyes to some things that I needed to change with my current offer on there, and I have. We still offer the current offer, but it's done better for the business than it was done 3 months ago. So that's just a win no matter what. But I think those pieces are key. And then the fact that you guys integrate with PushPress, which I use PushPress Grow, and you'll have all the systems built out to follow up with people. You know, they say that marketing's like that rule of 7 or whatever. They got to be hit with you over 7 times before they think about you. We're in their head, which is good. So even if those big number at the top of leads that are coming in, even though only a fraction of them are actually coming in the door, our prospects are actually becoming leads into the door. We've already put a spot in their mind, and they're going to see us at an organic event. They're going to hear us somewhere else. They're maybe hear us on this podcast. Who knows, right? But we're getting that mark made on a broader group of people, doing that, and then the follow up with them, I think is being built up and grow is key. That's totally different. There was no follow up before in the other pieces we had. Zero.
And I think there's 2 things that you said. A, like for everybody listening, like everybody on our staff is made up of gym owners. So we understand what Chris is going through, and we're able to speak to him rather than most marketing companies and are just like, hey, we'll get on in every 3 months or every quarter, I'll send you your metrics. And you're like, I have no idea what these mean, nor should you really have any idea really. But I think one thing you said, and I want to go into it, and I don't find it as a fault at all that you're like, hey, it basically, our copy basically aligns with what you do, right? Yeah. And it is general enough that it, like we have one guy that just did really, really well, Connor Bass. He said, it just gives me the opportunity to have more conversations. And I think one place that gym owners get, they get tied to I don't even use the word brand because I don't think this is just for people listening. Brand is when you're doing over $10 million and you see a logo and you have a feeling.
Nike, Adidas.
95% of people listening to this, you don't have a brand. I would say 99%. I don't even have a brand. We don't even have a brand at Lasso. When you see our logo, you don't think like, it doesn't give you a feeling like Coca-Cola or like look at Red Bull and you think adventure, right? So you don't have a brand, right? So, but what I'm getting to is all it needs to do is elicit that conversation that says, I understand that gym has a really good, I am not getting strength training. That's why I'm not getting results. I need to talk to Chris because it sounds like he can get me results because everything else I've tried has not got me to where I need. And his copy seems to understand in a general sense, my problem seems like he has the solution. I need to talk to him. And then from there, he becomes the doctor and then says, this is what you need to do. So I think this is a really good point for like, even you could talk about this, like how gym owners get so caught up in like, this is my colors. This is like, people don't care yet. Like Orange Theory. Yes. They go put orange bikes everywhere because you associate orange with Orange Theory, and it's just like this mind little thing that they put in there. But for everybody else in micro gym, you just need more conversations.
I like that. That's a good point. When you talk about scaling, branding's a real thing with franchises and stuff like that. But this is one gym that I have, and most gym owners, most of them are trying to make one gym successful. Not all of them, but most. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And that's like a big missing piece. If people aren't doing consults from this process, you're really screwing up. Like, you need to be having long 30, 40 hour-long conversations with every human that comes to the gym, and having the right person do that. You don't have the right person do that, your close rate's going to go down quite a bit. And it better be you asking a bunch of questions. Asking. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. I say 30 minutes, guys. Chris said up to an hour. Hey, listen, nah. We can't give everyone an hour. We'll give them 30 minutes, though. We'll give them 30 minutes. But I see what you're saying, right? Like, it is, like, it's vital. Like, Blake and I, like, we talk about this often on here. It just annoys me like no other when I hear people say, well, I only want to talk to people that are basically ready to pay me the first time that they hear about my business. And I'm just like, guys, that's so lazy, right? Like, that's what it really comes down to. So you're saying, as an entrepreneur, you only want to get in front of people that are willing to pay you right then. You don't have to sell them. Okay, so does every other business ever created by anyone. That's what we all want. We want everyone to run up to us. Hey, I know you have a business. Take my card and charge it in. Let me be a member forever. Like, guys, come on. Like, we have to stop that in this industry, right?
Yeah.
Like, we have to stop that. Like, oh, I don't want to deal with people that are not. Guys, some people are not going to be ready to go.
And
like, yes,
you sell a high-end gym membership. These are people who don't want to work out, man. They're struggling. They need you to pull it out of them. If they were going to Planet Fitness, that's not your person. You charge 10 times, 20 times the amount Planet Fitness does. That's a self-motivated person that's able to get the most out of their $11 a month membership. That's not your guy. You don't want that person. You want the person that just feels like they can't do it anymore, or whatever your specific avatar is. You're charging a high-end membership for a high-end service. You're going to have to really dig it out of them. It's going to happen.
Yeah, like, I agree with that so much. I think that, I think about any industry. So, like, when I I like to travel. So, like, especially, I love walking cities. So you guys get me off subject, but I love walking cities though. But so, like, when I go to Chicago, wherever, and you're walking around these cities, and whenever I see a luxury car dealership, I see a Ferrari dealership, whatever, like, I'm going in. Bentley dealership, like, I'm going in. Now, am I going to buy a Bentley? No, I'm not. Mm-mm. But the service that you get, these people are so nice. You get to look at the cars and stuff like that. Like, what if they said, well, you can only walk through these doors if you're going to buy a Bentley today?
Yep.
Guys, like,
their reputation they have. They have a terrible reputation. Yep.
Correct. And so many gym owners try that. So, starting today, no more, guys. Let's just stop that across the industry. You're going to have to deal with some people that are not going to pay you. But here's the cool thing about it, though. If you really think about it, like, we've all been gym owners long enough. Just because someone can't pay you today doesn't mean that they can't pay you down the road.
Absolutely.
Right? Whether their financial situation changes or their mindset just changes. Because a lot of times I strongly believe people can afford what's important to them, right? Like, they can afford what's important to them. So maybe their pain point isn't big enough when you talk to them in February, but then 6 months go by and they get that email or that text at the right time. And now they come in, nothing has changed. Their pain point is just a little more sensitive now. And they come in and start paying you. I owned a gym for 13 years and I saw that all the times. When someone first comes in, it's just not gonna, blah, blah, I gotta talk to my husband, it's not the right price, blah, blah, blah. But then they'll come back 6 months later. I've tried to do it on my own for long enough. I just need to give this a try. All right, let's get going. Let's get going.
I completely agree, man. And that's that point on, it's kind of like the intake process. If a lead comes through, or prospect comes through, then they turn into a lead, they sit down for a consult, they don't show up. Well, they're just one step removed from being a member of your gym. They're right there, So having the system built out where it continues to follow up with them in 6 months whenever they're significant other breaks up with them, or they get a raise in their job, or their pain point gets bigger. I think is key, So having the right system set up to where you have a higher likely chance of them touching base with you after they walk back out the door is everything.
And something you said there too, you have to, like, when the pain point comes up again, right? You guys have to realize, and we've said this, I think, on the previous podcast or 2 podcasts ago, that speed is key to a lead, right? They are opting in because they have a pain point, right? And we have so many gyms that are like, oh, these leads aren't good or whatever, but they realize, and then you go back through and like, hey, have you joined a gym? Yeah, I joined F45 Orange Theory. Well, why do you think they joined F45? Because they called them immediately. These people aren't just opting into your gym like you're some special unicorn. They're opting into 3 to 4. So if you're not getting to them ASAP and waiting a day, like 1 hour is too long, right? Like Orange Theory's got people waiting to get them in and sign them up, right? So like if you're not on top of it, you are going to lose. It's not that the lead was bad. You did a bad job following up, right? Like I remember I used this analogy probably last year when I needed my sprinklers turned back on for the summertime here in Indiana. I just went through Google and I called every single one till somebody answered. And the first one that answered my phone call, as long as they sound like coherent about what they were doing, was going to get my business because I had a problem and I needed it solved today. I didn't want to wait, right? And there's people like that. Like I'm an impatient buyer. Then you have people, and I think that's something we should talk about sometime, is the difference in buyers, right? Like you have impulsive, and then you have people that really need to do the research. When it's not something that like long-term for me, it's like, I am going to be impulsive and I'm going to buy it and I'm going to move forward, right? I got to get this done today. Whereas like most fitness buyers are not like that, where they're going to do a little more research. Like, hey, this is my health and fitness. If I'm going to be invested $200 a month, I want to know more, right? Like, so people always think that like, these leads come in and they're going to buy. They don't know, like, or trust you yet. And you have to do 3 of those usually within 14 days and provide that information so that they do this, so they do want to spend the money. So I think that's something the gym owners are really be cognizant of like the psychology behind a buyer when it's a product versus a service.
That makes perfect sense. Yep. I completely agree with that.
That was my nugget for this podcast. Market.
So Chris, tell me this, because we try to keep these podcasts sort of short. Tell me this. What would you tell someone who's thinking about working with us? They're thinking about it. They've heard a few podcasts, or maybe they've seen some testimonials, whatever. But someone's on the fence about working with us. What would you tell them?
I would tell them, make sure that you're doing organic marketing and that your client intake funnel is done first. And if not, go hire a business coach.
What would an intake funnel look like?
So for example, do you have, what offers do you have? And are you doing personal training up front first? Or are you straight to class model? Do you do what you like doing? Because whoever walked in that day, that's not really a consistent way of bringing someone in. If you have 2 different methods, what are the rules in that? Does your staff know what the process looks like? Do you have pricing set up for each? But I think y'all have seen it. There's a lot of gym owners don't have the basics set up. But if you have something decent there, which I think most gyms do, they have something decent already set up and lined up. If you do, then I would say if you're thinking about doing this and you've had a bad experience with paid marketing, but you know what you needed was basically a handhold, like a little bit of a training wheel there for the process, which I needed. I'm 14 years in. I needed my handheld. We had Tommy meets every 2 weeks. You guys did several meetings with me up front. I'm a very think about it buyer, like Sherman was. I'm a think about it buyer. So we did several consults. We had multiple people that I got to talk to, which is great when I was vetting out the process, because I was very skeptical because of what I've done before. It's my own insecurities and fears, much like your clients in front of you that are trying to sign up for your gym. I would say pull the trigger if it's something that you want support from. If you're ready to get on and do the research and have someone work with you weekly, do it. If not, then that's something to think about.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. I think that's one of the things Blake and I really take pride in, is that we actually have multiple touch points with our clients consistently, because what we saw when we got into this industry, which we didn't even know, is that most marketing companies aren't giving their clients touch points.
Mm.
So, so Blake and I, we're trying to make this an industry standard, right? This is the industry standard so that, when other companies realize, oh, these guys are doing well because it makes everyone have these touch points. Because also what it does, when you have these touch points and the marketing isn't popping how you want it to, you just don't get to hide behind a computer or a keyboard or an email. I have to look at you face to face and say, hey, listen, I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to figure it out because I'll be talking to you in the next week or two and you need answers. And I have to make sure that you get those answers. So we're trying to make sure that this raises the entire industry to do more face-to-face contacts and stuff like that so that clients get better results. Digital marketing gets a better name, and it's just, it just helps everyone just across the board. So
Absolutely.
That's good.
Yeah.
So that's good. So
No, I think there was a lot of good nuggets here of just like, I think overall, have your systems in place. We're a marketing company or at least work with a marketing company that understands your industry, right? And if you're not getting touch points of like to talk to somebody to understand not just the metrics, but where in the marketing funnel is this working or not working, right? Like just giving you cost per lead and how many leads and how many signups there's a lot, like I would say, it's like a chain. If there's kinks in the chain, like you got to create a well-oiled machine. And once you do that on every level, then you just pour gas on the fire, right? But like we say all the time, if you got holes in your buckets, we're just going to add more water to it. So patch those holes a little bit, put some tape on them by like systems, processes, funnels, all that stuff. And then you'll be successful.
yeah. So, I think we're going to get out of here. Chris, first of all, thanks for hanging out with us. And our goal is to, we're going to wait for about a year after you double that revenue, then we're going to have you back so we can talk about that in detail. Guys, as always, tell a friend to tune in, and we will chat with you guys next week. All right.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast with Blake Ruff and Sherman Merricks. We hope you enjoyed. We believe marketing should increase revenue and not waste money. So book your free call today. Head on over to lassoframework.com. That's lassoframework.com and find the right words, get more customers, and increase your revenue. We'll see you here next time.